People here watch the Thunderbirds? Oh yeah, I grew up with them. Thank you, Brandon. Coffee's there. Now, don't go away. Come here. Student, he's our floor manager tonight. Your assistant's coming over in a minute. What are you studying here?
I'm studying broadcast television.
Broadcast television, well done. Thank you, sir. Enjoy tonight. Ainsland, these aren't current. Have you got a... I called you Ainsland again. It's Aisling. Come here. Say hello, Aisling.
Hi.
What do you do here?
Screen and media.
Screen and media. And you're also where at school?
Iona.
Well done. Our assistant floor manager. Thank you, Aisling. Your letters tonight are these. Number 1, how do I manage to disconnect my 3 kids from their electronic devices? I should be over here, they keep telling me. Okay, there we are. Yes, so writes a parent who also should be disconnecting from electronic devices of a different variety. 51% of people in Australia have tattoos, and it's growing. But apparently it shouldn't be in the firing line when you're in sales. We don't like it when we're confronted by those bearing tattoos selling us things. And the last letter tonight, we've come up with the most backwards of yardsticks for filtering who should or shouldn't be a citizen of Australia, an English test, going backwards. We'll see what the panellists have got to say. We'll even see what you've got to say too, because we asked you online. Don't go away, Sweet and Sour starting right now. Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. As always, we've got some beautiful panellists for you tonight, and we've got one anchor right down at the other end, a different configuration tonight. My mate John Hammond is in. We'll meet him in a moment. But first up tonight, the beautiful Kasia McNaught is here. Welcome back from your trip as well.
Thank you, it's good to be back.
Especially just to be here.
Yeah, well, I had to, you know.
Yeah. Never to disappoint. You're terrific. Where were you?
I was in Greece and Estonia.
Hard life for some.
Difficult sometimes.
Difficult. How long in Greece?
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Did you do the islands?
Yeah, a few of them. Santorini's the most beautiful. Rhodes Island.
Oh, yeah.
Crete.
Yeah. Where else did you go? 2 weeks Greece. What was the other week?
Estonia. Yeah.
How come you went there?
I have a really good friend in Estonia. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that would take you to Estonia, I'm sure.
And I've always wanted to visit because it's such an exotic sounding place and I knew not much about it.
Estonia, all right. Were you pleased?
Oh, I was loving it.
Do you want to go back?
I do, I really do.
Well,
yeah.
That means that you've had a wonderful time. Welcome back to the show after
Thank
all these
you.
years as well.
It's good to be back.
Hello, Marie.
Hello, how are you, Gary?
You haven't been away?
Oh, I went to Bali on a work conference
Did
recently.
you really?
Yeah.
Ooh, how long ago was that?
Oh, 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, or maybe longer.
On a work conference?
Yeah,
How
work
long were you there for
conference.
the work conference?
Oh, 4 days.
Did you do a lot of work on that work conference?
No, not really.
Who's the boss at your place?
John Hammond, just to my left here.
Who happens to be here as well? My mate John's here as well. Who else is here from your legal firm tonight? Oh yes, Miriam sitting over there as well from Hammond Legal as well. Hello, Miriam.
Hello, Gary.
Did you go away on this work conference too?
I did. It was lots of fun.
The only person you didn't take, John, is me. No, good. I'm coming to be your paper boy or something. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. Yep.
What did you learn while you were over there being on conference?
How to get a great tan in Bali.
Jono, what did you learn while you were over there?
I learned a lot because I went to all the sessions and I absorbed all the information that was imparted to me.
Who was running a legal conference?
A very good outfit called Piddingtons. Piddingtons. They run the law conferences there.
Okay.
And it's a very popular event.
All right. Should I be coming on the next one?
I think you should. You might learn a lot about the law, Gary.
Because I know nothing. But anyway, good to have you back, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, here we go, ladies and gent. First letter tonight, dear Sweet and Sour. How do I manage to disconnect my 3 kids from their electronic devices? I'm sick of it. The eldest is 18 and the youngest is 10, but it makes no difference. The 3 of them remain glued to their smartphones or iPads day and night. Last week, my wife and I celebrated our 20-year anniversary and we took the whole family, including my eldest's boyfriend, out for a celebratory dinner. What a total waste of time. Not one of the four, including the boyfriend, detached for more than 2 minutes, even to eat. There was no conversation offered by any of them, and my wife and I sneakily moved to another table, which was for two, yet not one of the zombies noticed. My wife and I had a lovely time and giggled for the rest of the evening at our kids' expense. Despite that, we're very worried about the seemingly endless need by the kids to stay connected to their devices, and we're both at a loss to work out how we can encourage them off these mind-numbing devices. We've tried closing their accounts and not paying the bills for the Wi-Fi or the phone connections, but as any parent will tell you, that just intensifies the obsession. We'd very much appreciate any suggestions the panellists may have to normalise the behaviour of our three kids. Thank you, writes Condell of Claremont in WA. Jono, is this a problem? How old are your kids now? They're beyond this?
Yeah, they're beyond this. They're 25 and 23, but let me say it's a serious problem.
Even with your kids?
Even with my kids, and even with me, I've actually got the disease, the iPhone disease.
Well, what do you do to disconnect?
Well, it's difficult because everything is on your iPhone. The weather, Gumtree, which I love looking at.
Gumtree?
Yeah, Gumtree's
What are you
on
selling
the
on
iPhone.
Gumtree? Or what
Well,
are
you
you
can be
buying
looking
on
at cars, used furniture, ironing services.
Can you get legal advice on Gumtree yet?
No doubt there's lawyers advertising on it. We aren't yet, but who knows?
Yeah, the economy's a tough place at the moment. You might
It's
have
a
to.
disease. iPhones and those tablets are a disease, and those parents have got to get really, really tough.
What do you do though?
Well, you've got to ban it at the table.
You
No
ban it at
iPhones.
the table?
You do not eat at my table if you're going to look at your phone. It's the height of rudeness.
Be hard.
Be very hard, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you learnt that? Do you take it to your dinner table?
No, I don't take it to my dinner table. I'm pretty good usually.
Okay, he's pretty good usually.
Yeah.
Okay, Miriam, are you pretty good usually?
I try to do what John says and put it away, but there's always a temptation there to get on the phone. But what I've heard is that a good idea is to put your phones in the middle of the table at the beginning of a dinner party, and
Just leave them there?
And the first person to grab it has to buy the next round of drinks for the
Well, that's
table.
a good incentive for the kids.
Yeah.
They've got no money.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Does that work with your lot though?
I haven't tried it, but I think it's a good idea.
Haven't tried it yet?
No.
All right, Marie, what have you tried?
I'm the same. I just switch off from the phone, but I have to say that I haven't seen anyone more addicted to a phone than John. It's a big
Being
call.
shafted by the staff here,
I know. I'll pay for it tomorrow. No, but it is scary. I think that I've heard that there are addiction centres opening up for children for this very...
Serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
over in the east, yeah. So we've got them for meth, we've got them for heroin, and
now
now
we're
we've
gonna
got
have
them
them
for
for phones.
screens, yeah.
Kasia, what do we do to kids?
Oh, well, it's a tough one, but I read a CNN article and they were saying there was a lot of good tips in there, and the overall message was that parents should try to embrace technology rather than punish their kids with it. So be a bit
good
more
avenue.
innovative with your approach. So, for example, there are certain apps that can be downloaded, and I think they're paid maybe $5 a month, and that allows the phone to be blocked between certain hours, so perhaps in the evening.
Parents, get smart with your phones. Very clever.
Yeah, or maybe they could not renew the data allowance once the kids use it up.
That's mean though, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know, and they probably get
Doesn't
Wi-Fi
work.
anyway. So.
But if the parents got more savvy with their phones, that they could probably connect better even at dinner with their kids on the phone.
Yeah.
We asked our online audience this question: should all mobile appliances be banned from use by patrons in restaurants? And we came up with these results on your screen coming up right now. There we go. Only 6% said yes, mobile appliances should be banned. There we go. 94% said no, there's nothing wrong with them. And that's probably true. It's not the phones that are a problem, it's the users. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about more taboos perhaps. Tattoos in sales. Do they work? Tattoos in sales? Do you like someone with a tattoo on their face serving you? When we come back, more of Sweet and Sour, don't go away. Who's got a tattoo?
Getting in touch with Sweet and Sour is easy. Just head to sweetandsour.net.au to send us a letter. And while you're there, why not check out our past episodes? Plus, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And for a behind-the-scenes look at Sweet and Sour, check us out on Instagram.
And every one of our letter writers we send to the movies courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. Thank you, Nat. Straight into letter 2. Here we go. Dear Mitch and panellists, how bloody rude. Some big-headed boss decided that he wasn't going to hire someone who has visual tattoos on her arms. Apparently first impressions in sales mean everything, and tattoos, according to this dinosaur, are a negative. I just can't believe some older dude who's into the sales thing doesn't get that 51% of people in Australia have a tattoo, and it's growing. We tattooed folk are the majority, so why wouldn't you take a woman with tattoos to sell to that particular demographic? As to my mind, it makes great business sense. Surely this is a clear case of discrimination, and like all discrimination, this is just a bit off the boil. Why can't I sue a bloke like this if I encounter the same prejudice? Is a full arm tattoo so offensive that it has to be hidden? What's the mindset here? Because I don't understand it at all. Is it because some old dude thinks all tattooed folk are from another planet? Writes to us Larissa of Skye in South Australia. Kasia, do you like tattoos?
Not personally.
Not personally. Do you get offended by tattoos?
No.
What about if you had a sales assistant come up to you with a face full of tattoos?
No, but I mean, it depends what they're selling at the end of the day, you know? If it's something really serious like, I don't know, life insurance, then it may not be appropriate. But if they're working in a coffee store and they're, you know,
if it's appropriate,
sporting a certain look. Like I recently saw a waitress in Estonia and she served coffee and her hand had a big cat tattoo on it, and I thought it was like a piece of art. It was amazing. Don't want it personally, but it didn't put me off my coffee, so.
Okay. All right. Marie,
Yes.
What do you do here?
No, I don't think it is appropriate in a client-facing role. I mean, people know that sales, in sales, first impressions do count, and I think that it can be a little bit off-putting sometimes to some customers.
Is the boss right to actually say, no, I'm sorry, I can't employ you because you're too much of a risk to my sales targets?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. It's up to him, his discretion as to whether he wants to employ someone
He's
with
the boss,
a certain
it's his
look.
firm,
Yeah,
how it looks, it's all part of the marketing
Well, the
mix.
customer comes first in sales, don't they? So I think that the first impression is really important.
Miriam, you're presupposing something here though. You're presupposing that you know the mindset of everyone who comes through the door and that they're going to be offended. Is that a mistake?
Well, tattoos are mainstream now, so most people...
51%, according to... I don't know whether that statistic is real or not, but I've got no reason to question it either, because you see them everywhere. So you think it is? You think that's an appropriate statistic?
A majority of people or maybe not a majority, but quite a lot of people do have tattoos, and it's definitely become more normalised. So perhaps some sort of openness towards it is in need by society. But in terms of this person writing in saying that it's discriminatory, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that she's made an informed decision to get a tattoo, and she, you'd be aware that it may affect your or hinder your capacity to get a job.
You would, wouldn't you? You'd know when you were getting it on. You know, a prospective employer is going to be seeing this. It's like Facebook, anything that you put on Facebook as well. You know a prospective employer is going to be seeing that at some point in time, no matter whether you take it down in time or not, because everybody captures things.
That's right.
So in the end, it's an informed decision. She's got the right to have it, and he's got the right to actually turn around and say, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Do we have a legal position on this, John?
Well, I've got to say, Gary, to your viewers, that having a tattoo counts against you. That you really need to think twice before you get a tattoo, because a lot of employers will not take you on. If you're playing AFL or rugby league, then yeah, that's probably part of the culture. But if you're working in medicine, law, accounting, people aren't going to want to see tattoos on your body. So I caution people against taking tattoos on. It's for life, and a lot of people are now getting them burnt off.
A lot of people getting them burnt off, I know. I've got a few mates who've actually suggested that they're going to get their tattoos gotten rid of. I've got a few family members who've got tats.
So don't do it.
Don't do it. We asked our online community this question: should tattoos be covered up by those working in the service industry? And here's the result, flashed up right now. There you go. 41% said yes, they should be covered up, and 59% said no. What an interesting statistic.
Well, I'm a fuddy-duddy.
Well, maybe. Maybe. It depends, you know, what demographic was the majority on the other end of the answering that question. When we come back, we're going to be talking about this English test that Minister Dutton has come up with to get into Australia, whether it's a good thing or not. Don't go away, more of Sweet and Sour. Who thinks it's a good idea? Sorry, I gave
This show's pretty sweet, but Gary's jokes are making me feel pretty sour.
And sour, right here on Sweet and Sour. That's it. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour, into the final letter of the night. It's all Greek to me. Hi, Sweet and Sour. My family has been here for more than 5 generations. Not one of my forebears could speak English when they arrived. Not one. More than a century later, my extended family includes doctors, lawyers, teachers, public servants, politicians, and OAM recipients, and all of what anyone would describe as model citizens and positive community contributors. More than 100 years after the arrival of my original family members, this very strange and sour-looking man, as opposed to sweet and sour-looking man, who happens to hold the position of Immigration Minister, Peter Dutton, has come up with the most backwards of yardsticks for filtering who should or shouldn't become a citizen of Australia. An English test. What an ill-considered fool. We need a citizen's test based on values, and you don't get that with a superficial English test. Every single one of those revolting, inhumane terrorists who we're trying to keep out has a perfect command of English, and that extends to those who we've ever managed to kill or convict here. Oh gosh. It seems this ugly-minded minister never bothered to venture out of his own Anglo-Saxon elitist social circle to have any understanding of his own extended Australian community. A command of English has never been an appropriate measure for anyone to be granted citizenship in this country. It's values, values, values. So why would he do this now? Is Dutton courting the One Nation voter because they're the only goons who value this destructive bigotry? Surely the panel agrees that this English test needs to be rethought immediately. Nick of Brighton in Victoria. Miriam, English test, appropriate, inappropriate?
I think that having an ability to speak the language is crucial to integrating into a society when you arrive, but perhaps assessing people when they arrive isn't the correct approach, and it's more about a willingness perhaps to learn the language instead. I guess my concern is that certain people from particular backgrounds might be disadvantaged when it comes to learning English as well. If you
I reckon even our kids would be disadvantaged if they had to do this test.
But if
you have to get 75%. It's a bit of a joke. Go on.
Well, if you came from a background which might be Germany or Sweden, where you've grown up speaking English or learning English, then you're obviously going to do a lot better in the test, whereas if you came from a different background or even a developing country, then you wouldn't have grown up in a culture where you might have had much exposure to English or even a good quality education. So from that point of view...
Sure, it advantages some and disadvantages a whole heap of people. But if we're trying to keep out undesirables, how's English going to keep out undesirables? The whole world practically speaks English now, and some are better at it than others, but English tests, I remember learning when I was at school. You know, if you know anything about Australia's history, in the early part of last century, we had English tests for people to come in, and that was a way of keeping people out. And they were all good people too. Primarily, it was against the Chinese community back then. But anyway, Jono.
Well, I agree with your writer that the English test isn't a way to determine whether people are going to make good citizens or not. I think a better way of doing it would be to ask them a series of questions, a 10-point questionnaire, which I'd be happy to sit down with you, Gary, and work out. And one of the questions would be, do you bash your wife? Or do you think it's acceptable to bash someone? Do you believe in female mutilation or genital mutilation? There's a whole lot of things that I think you could be asking people to see if they believed. And if they believe those things which were so contrary to what we believed, then you wouldn't let them into the country.
Yeah, it's about the values that we...
I mean, I'm taking it to an extreme, but...
No, that's true. It's about not hurting people. Come in, work with people, and we'll grow the community.
But no one's going to agree to that, John. Just, yes, I bashed my wife.
Well, another way of phrasing it would be, do you believe you can administer corporal punishment on your wife if she misbehaves? I mean, there are some societies who believe that's entirely acceptable.
But again, I agree with Miriam. I think that, you know, these so-called terrorists that we're trying to keep out are probably smart enough to not tick the box on that one.
Kasia, we're going to bring you in.
Yeah, perhaps they need a lie detector test along with that as well. I mean, it is easy to lie on paper. And, I mean, English is known to be a difficult language when it comes to the grammar and the written word.
Like I said, our kids wouldn't pass.
I mean, literally these days, a lot of people can't spell to save their lives. So I think it would be quite unfair if it's really, you know, grammar focused and it's really about the theory rather than actually speaking and communicating and, you know, having a conversation. So it shouldn't be the whole or the major focus.
For me, it's back to the future. We did it 100 years ago, and here we are doing it again, and we abandoned it. We asked our online community, Marie will come to you shortly, but before we do, we asked our online community this question: is an English language test an appropriate means of selecting Australian citizens? And for the first time ever in Sweet and Sour, this is what we got. Here's your result. 50% exactly said yes and 50% said no. Wow. So it's obviously a real hot potato. People at home going, yeah, no. People arguing everywhere. All right, last word, Miriam. Oh, sorry, Marie.
No, I don't agree that the English test is the best way to select a citizen. I do agree that people need to have a good command of English to integrate into society. But the real question is, how do you test someone's values? I'm not sure it's as easy as, do you agree with domestic violence? I think there's a little more thought that needs to go into that.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough one, though. You know, if it's a series of questions, anybody can write anything. A series of questions.
Multiple choice.
But you know, if you then have to take an oath, it's a different story. And maybe, you know, here are the values that we espouse. You know, you're welcome to come in. I don't know how you reinforce that.
Well, that actually might be a good idea, that you have to subscribe to a set of values to come into Australia, that you agree to do these things.
Civics. We don't teach a lot of civics in our schools or anything, do we?
No, we don't.
The credits are on. It means we've got to go. Thank you, Jono.
Yeah,
terrific to have you here tonight, sir, especially after the 1 month you've had off and the rush in to get here.
Well, I'll make up for it with all the work I do for the next 11 months.
All right, good. Paying back the holiday. I'm coming to that next conference, by the way.
You're welcome.
Kasia, same to you. Thank you for rushing in as well.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Nice to see you again after all this time. Miriam and Marie, terrific to have you here. Don't forget to give this bloke a hard time when you go to work tomorrow.
We always do.
Good. Thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew who are here at Central TAFE, and thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. We will see you next week again. Good night, everybody. This is where you wave. All right? Good night, everybody. Bye for now. You're such a giggler. Are you a giggler at work?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, how do you get him to stop giggling at work? I want to work with you people.